Hi, Attorney Steve Vondran, former Cincinnati Reds professional baseball player. Today, I'm talking about something I wish I had back in 1980s, the late 80s, when I was a baseball player in college at Fresno State University. I wish we had name, image, and likeness. Some of the new rules that are going on now with the NCAA allow student athletes to make money off their name, image, and likeness. Back in the old days when I played, back in the dinosaur ages, that would have lost my eligibility, but not anymore because the NCAA has passed some new rules allowing athletes to capitalize on their own personal brand. Without further ado, let's head to the Attorney Steve litigation whiteboard. Okay, so I have up here NIL. And that doesn't mean nothing. It means name, image, and likeness. This is what we call the right of publicity. Everybody has their own personal right to privacy and their own personal right to exploit their identity, their characteristics, their name, their image, their likeness. Now with artificial intelligence, even your voice may become a protected attribute that you can license to companies, brands that are looking for endorsers to do things on social media like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, you name it, YouTube. So let's talk about some of the basics here real quick. This came to surface about a couple years ago in 2021. The NCAA, they've been pressured by everyone to say, let these people, as a college athlete, you are out on the field, 4, 5, 6 hours a day, practicing, playing games, traveling, in lousy hotel rooms, all this stuff. Meanwhile, the average person is on campus. They get a study, they get better grades because they're focusing all their time and attention on scholastics. Maybe they have a part-time job. But nowadays, they are coming up with rules that allow people to exploit their name, image, and likeness in what we call a NIL contract. So if you need more information, go to this website right here, nilcontracts.com, NIL contracts.com, and I have some information there for you. But here it is. You have basically the NCAA, which allows for universities to do this. It's up to the states. Every state gets their own rules. Arizona, where I practice law, is a little bit different than California. Okay, so there's different requirements. And if you're dealing with agents, where do I have agents up here? I don't have agents up here. If you're dealing with agents to help you out, there's certain agent contract rules, things that need to be considered. But here you have your student athlete, wants to get out, wants to do some social media endorsement. Some of these college football players and women's track and field, women's softball, men and women, this is all open for everybody, which is great, are making big money. We're talking in the millions of dollars as college sports athletes. We didn't have that back in my day, or I probably wouldn't even be working here. Yeah, well, we'll see. Anyway, so you have all these brands like Nike and Adidas, sports brand, drinks brands, restaurants. Everybody wants car dealerships. Everybody wants to associate with a winner, right? Everybody wants to associate with a winner. You've heard that. So here you go. You enter into your endorsement contracts with your brand. There's certain things that I want to talk about as being essential elements to this agreement, okay? Some things that you need to be thinking about. This is not an exclusive list of things, but some general things I want you to be thinking about as an athlete entering into these agreements. And these are big decisions. You want to make sure you're choosing the right opportunity. Don't just jump for anything. The way I look at it, in a lot of ways, you're like an actor. You don't want to just take any old role that comes your way. You want to do one that will help you in the future so you don't get typecast and you can't do anything else. So it gives you flexibility. So let's look at some of the essential elements here. I want to talk first about the parties. You always want to know who the parties are to the contract. That may seem pretty obvious, but you may have certain brands here. You may have affiliates, parent companies, subsidiaries, things like that. Make sure you know who the parties are and who you're dealing with. That's element one. Services and deliverables. There are so many different things an athlete can do to make money, with these name, image, and likeness laws. They can sign autographs, memorabilia, they can do a YouTube video. In fact, on this site right here, openendorse.com, I just hired 4 athletes. You can go on there as a brand owner. I own Vondran Legal, my law firm. I just hired 4 different athletes to create videos for me for my business. I'm waiting on those to come back, but I'm going to post them on nilcontracts.com once I get them so you can kind of see what it is. Some of them I paid $40, $50, some of them $80, $90. It just depends on who the athlete is and what their valuation is. You can go to this site right here, On3.com. This is a great site. It will show all the different sports, all the different athletes, and it will give a suggested valuation. So some of the great quarterbacks and running backs, defensive backs, safeties, basketball players. Schools like Auburn are killing it. Schools like Alabama football team killing it. And, any big athlete has got great opportunities now to make so much money, even more than maybe even they could make in the pros, which is crazy. But go to on3.com. This is pretty cool. And I have down here athlete agent contract requirements. Just always bear that in mind. If you're working with an agent, somebody that's going to get you the gigs, okay? Somebody says, sign with me, I'll get you the gigs. It's almost like a record label. Sign with me, I'll get your record out there to people. So, but there we go. Back to our list. You have the parties. Next, deliverables. What are you going to do? You're the athlete. What are you going to do? Where are you going to do it? Are you going to show up and do an appearance? Are you going to do a commercial at a car dealership? Are you going to appear on a radio or on a podcast for money, for a fee? So there's so many different kinds of things you're going to do, but you want to make sure you're clearly spelling out what you have to do, when you have to do it. Don't make it conflict with your school hours. Make sure you're picking times that are work for you and things like that. Next, timeframes and deadlines. Of course, you're an athlete. You're out there traveling. You're doing all these things. Make sure that it's not coinciding with your travel plans, with your school plans, your vacations or whatnot. Make sure that when you commit to something, you're able to do it. You don't want to be in breach of a contract. That's the last thing you want to do. Compensation, that should probably be number one. Show me the money, as Jerry Maguire would say. Show me the money. So you want to know, what am I getting paid? When am I getting paid? You want to make sure they have the money to pay you. Somebody may say, I got $1 million for you. If you appear at my yacht party and you just show up and shake some hands, I got $1 million. Okay, well, you're going to pay me up front. You're going to pay me half, and then half when I get there, half when I leave. 2 weeks later, how's this going to work? Make sure you're clearly spelling out when and how you get paid, okay? Now, and speaking in that, you have, again, the NCAA rules over here. You don't want to be compensating players, and I have here the Miami case. This was a Miami women's basketball case right here, where they got some boosters to basically pump up what some of the gals would be making, more as a recruiting effort than a name, image, and likeness contract. So there's a fine line, and if you cross that line, the NCAA can come down here on the member institution, the colleges and the universities. They can basically suspend them, prohibit them, lower their scholarships, reduce postseason play, things like that. So be very careful on compensation. You cannot get paid to play. You cannot get paid for recruiting. You cannot get paid for incentives for performance. You can only get paid to market your name, image, and likeness to brands who want to pay you for that, okay? So, all right. So there's a couple terms you want to make sure you have. Next, FTC compliance. If nobody is talking about that and you're doing a sports endorsement deal, nobody's talking about the FTC social media influencer disclosure requirements, you guys are missing the boat, because you don't want to get your school in trouble here. If you do something wrong, somebody may come back on your school, NCAA comes down on the school, but there are certain disclosure requirements when you're endorsing a product. One of those being, you don't want to endorse a product you've never used before. You don't want to say, this is the best shampoo I've ever seen in my life. I've never actually used it. So you don't want to do things like that when you're on social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, wherever you're at. You need to make sure you're disclosing that there's an affiliate relationship. It's an endorsement deal, clear and conspicuous. So there's different rules. I have information out about this on NIL contracts. I'm not going to go in depth here, but suffice it to say, you need to be thinking about compliance rules so the Federal Trade Commission in Washington, D.C. doesn't come down on you and say, what are you guys doing here? You're promoting products you don't even know what you're talking about. You're making false, unsubstantiated claims, things like that. Next, IP rights. All right, you're going to do this stuff. Who owns the rights? Are they going to get the rights to your name, image, and likeness forever? Or are you going to limit that like a smart person? You're going to call attorneysteve.com. You can say, Attorney Steve, just make it very limited for this very limited purpose. Give me the contract. Show me the money. Make sure everything is good. All the compliance terms are met, that the school is notified. Your schools need to get notified of these contracts. Why? So they can turn them down if they think there's something wrong there. They have the right to say, no, 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 you're not going to do that. No way, no way. So FTC compliance, IP rights, clearly defined. They should be very limited for the single purpose of using this, maybe for a commercial or a video or one appearance. They can take a video of the appearance and post it on their social media. You can have that clip, do whatever you want with it, but nothing else, okay? And again, this goes along the lines of exclusivity and non-exclusive. You really don't want to be giving someone the exclusive rights to you. Now, some athletes like Michael Jordan, he may say, well, I'll give Nike. You guys are paying me that kind of money. I will not do any shoe commercials for anybody else. No how, no way. I will not do it. Fine. I'll put it in writing. I'll sign it. So things like that. All right. Finally, two more. Termination. What happens with terminations? Okay. So maybe there will be a morals clause in the agreement, the sports endorsement agreement right here, endorsement contract. And it may say, if you do something stupid on campus, embarrass yourself, embarrass your school, embarrass your team, we can terminate the contract, okay? That's called like a morals clause, okay? So don't do something stupid that would blow it. So say you got a contract and you're going to be there in 30 days and you got to show up and you're going to make 50 grand and you're all excited, and then you go get arrested by the cops for streaking the campus or something. Oh, geez. Now you may have your contract terminated for that, okay? And same thing, what about transfer? What if you have a deal in place and all of a sudden with the new transfer portal rules, you say, I got this deal coming up next month, but I'm going to transfer out of here. I'm gone. Maybe they need to have the sponsor or the brand has a right to say, I'm backing out of here. I'm backing out of here. All right. So transfer, and then finally a dispute resolution. What happens if there's disputes? Nowadays in the legal field, we see a lot of arbitration clauses. And a lot of companies like to use arbitration clauses because arbitration is quicker, it's less expensive, it's private. It's not like a public lawsuit that gets filed, so everybody's name gets blasted out there. The brand gets blasted out of there. The brand's being sued by the athlete, or the athlete's being sued by the brand. So a lot of times you'll see arbitration of disputes and that, so forth and so on. Now, the other thing I missed here on IP rights, what if the endorser says, I need you to wear your Oregon State jersey? Well, the Oregon State jersey is a trademark of Oregon State. That's their trademark, right? So you would probably need to make sure you can clear that with your university, which is, again, why they would have the right to reject or object to such a claim. So IP rights can be very, very important here as well. So that's just a general overview, guys, of name, sports, image, and likeness. I call this an episode of Contracts College, Attorney Steve Contracts College. And I hope that gives you a general idea what's going on in the sports world, sports endorsement world. It's very exciting times. There's even some new talk now about giving salaries to college athletes, $30,000 salary. So think about that. So times have changed, boy. When I went to school, man, it was like, hey, you're on your own, pal. Go in there, good luck, hit some home runs, and go study when you can. Okay. Anyway, guys, this is general legal information only, not legal advice. If you need sports lawyers, someone to help you with the NIL contracts, show you the money, give us a call. We'll make sure you're keeping it legal and keeping your status in place, your amateur status. You don't want to lose that until you're ready to go pro, baby. Go pro. Attorney Steve out. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Make sure to subscribe. And hey, don't be stingy. Somebody hit that like button, please. I got to run. Have a great day. Bye now.